All right, get ready, because we're about to take a deep dive.
Into the world of...
Hormones.
That's right.
Those tiny but super powerful messengers that control, well...
Pretty much everything.
Yeah, everything from how you grow.
To your mood.
Even those crazy late-night cravings.
Exactly.
It's kind of wild to think that these microscopic molecules can orchestrate, like...
all these really complex processes.
Right. It's like they're running some secret operation.
In our own bodies.
And we're just starting to figure it all out.
Yeah.
But today...
we're going undercover, so to speak.
Yeah, we're going to expose two of these powerful agents.
Growth hormone and prolactin.
And our decoder ring for this mission is...
a physiology handout.
From Dr. Rasha Eldeeb.
That's right.
Think of it as our backstage pass.
To understanding how these hormones really work.
Why they sometimes go rogue.
And what that means for, well...
all of us.
exactly.
So first up...
growth hormone, often called GH.
Yeah, now most people probably think, oh, that's the one that makes you tall. But there's so much more to it, right?
Oh, absolutely.
It's way more than a one-trick pony.
It's more like the body's master architect, I would say.
Oh, interesting.
Stimulating growth in various tissues.
So it's not just about bones.
Nope, not at all.
Huh.
It tells cells to divide
Okay.
and to make more protein.
To build stuff.
Exactly.
So how does that work?
Imagine, like, a construction crew
Okay.
building a skyscraper.
All right, I'm with you.
GH provides the blueprints,
Got the
materials.
Okay.
The cells are the workers.
Mm-hmm.
And protein.
The building material.
You got it.
Okay, so I'm picturing this bustling construction site.
Yes.
GH is calling all the shots.
That's a great way to visualize it.
But what happens if GH gets a little carried away with the job?
Mhm.
Like, are we talking Attack of the 50-Foot Woman kind of scenario?
Ugh, not quite that dramatic.
Right.
But excessive GH can lead to some pretty striking conditions.
Oh, like what?
Usually it's caused by tumors.
Okay.
But think gigantism in children.
Oh, wow.
We're talking individuals reaching heights of like 8 feet
Really?
or even taller.
That's incredible.
Because GH is acting before bone fusion is complete.
So they just keep growing.
Pretty much.
Wow, 8 feet tall. That's got to make doorways a challenge.
I would imagine so, yes.
What about if this GH surge happens later in life?
Well, then you get acromegaly.
Okay.
Instead of growing taller, the bones thicken.
Oh.
Particularly in the hands, feet, and face. So you might see people with unusually prominent jaws or enlarged hands and feet.
Wow.
It can even affect organs
Oh, no.
and
right.
increase the risk of diabetes.
So GH is not just about height. It's about overall growth.
Exactly.
And too much can really throw things off.
Absolutely.
You also mentioned metabolic effects, though.
Yes.
What does that mean for, let's say, how our bodies handle a big plate of spaghetti?
That's a great question.
Thanks.
GH impacts how we process everything we eat.
Oh, really?
Proteins, carbs, fats, all of it.
Wow.
It has a protein anabolic effect,
Okay.
which basically means it helps build muscle.
Uh-huh.
But when it comes to carbs,
Yeah.
GH has what we call a diabetogenic effect.
Diabetogenic. That sounds kind of ominous.
It can be.
Does that mean GH raises blood sugar?
It can, yes.
Oh, no.
But it also boosts the pancreas's response to insulin,
Okay.
which is the hormone that helps regulate blood sugar.
Right.
So it's kind of like a seesaw.
Trying to maintain balance.
Exactly.
So like a hormonal balancing act.
Yeah.
Keeping those sugar levels in check.
Right.
And what about fat?
Yes.
What does GH do there?
It's like that friend who encourages you to hit the gym.
Okay.
GH actually helps break down fat for energy,
Oh, really?
especially when you're low on blood sugar or stressed out.
Okay.
Think of that shaky feeling you get when you haven't eaten in a while.
Oh, yeah.
GH is kicking in, helping your body access stored energy.
So GH isn't just about building you up.
Yep.
It's also about providing fuel when you need it most.
Exactly.
It's like a 247 construction and maintenance crew all in one.
I like that analogy.
Thanks.
But GH doesn't actually work alone.
It doesn't.
Nope. It has helpers.
It does. Like what?
It stimulates the liver to produce these growth factors called somatomedins.
Somatomedins. I think I've heard of those.
The most important ones are IGF-I and IGF-II.
Okay.
Think of them as GH's deputies carrying out its growth orders.
At the cellular level.
Precisely.
So GH is the big boss.
Uh-huh.
The somatomedins are the ones on the ground making sure the work gets done.
Yes, that's a great way to think about it.
So what's the difference between IGF-I and IGF-II?
Well, IGF-I is the main player after birth.
Okay.
Crucial for that postnatal growth spurt.
Makes sense.
IGF-II, on the other hand, seems to be more important during fetal development.
Ah, so they tag team depending on the stage of life.
Exactly.
So who tells GH when it's time to get to work? What triggers its release?
Well, that's where the hypothalamus comes in.
Okay.
This region of the brain is like the body's control center. It's constantly monitoring and adjusting to keep everything running smoothly.
So if the hypothalamus is the control center,
Yes.
how does it communicate with GH?
Good question.
Is it sending, like, telepathic messages?
Not quite telepathic.
Okay.
But it does use chemical messengers called hormones.
So it releases hormones that tell GH what to do.
Exactly.
Interesting.
The hypothalamus releases specific hormones that either stimulate or inhibit GH release.
So it can tell GH to get to work.
Yes.
Or to take a break.
Exactly.
It all depends on what's happening in the body.
Right.
So it's like this complex system of signals and responses.
It is.
With the hypothalamus acting as the conductor.
Yes.
And GH as the orchestra.
Perfect analogy.
So what kinds of things signal the hypothalamus to release GH?
Well, a lot of things, actually.
Like what?
Low blood sugar.
Okay.
High amino acid levels. Like after a protein-rich meal.
Makes sense.
Stress, exercise, and even deep sleep.
Wow. So a lot of things can trigger GH release.
They can.
What about things that tell the hypothalamus to put the brakes on GH?
Ah, yeah.
What are those?
Well, high blood sugar.
Okay.
High levels of free fatty acids.
Okay.
And certain hormones, like cortisol.
Cortisol, that's our stress hormone,
That's
right?
right.
Wow, that's a lot of factors to juggle.
It is.
It's like a constant feedback loop.
Exactly.
The hypothalamus is constantly fine-tuning GH levels based on what the body needs.
At any given moment.
Amazing.
It really is.
And that's just one half of the story.
Right.
We've got another fascinating hormone to explore.
We do.
Prolactin.
Yes.
Now, this is the one everyone associates with milk production, right?
That's right.
But I have a feeling it's more complicated than that.
Oh, it is.
Right.
Yes, prolactin is essential for stimulating milk production in mammary glands.
Okay.
But just like GH,
It also has other roles.
it does.
Yes. In fact, it's involved in breast development
Really?
during puberty and pregnancy. And here's a surprising twist.
Okay, I'm listening.
Prolactin can actually cause amenorrhea.
Wait, amenorrhea? Isn't that the absence of periods?
It is.
But why would a milk-producing hormone stop menstruation?
Well, think about it.
Okay.
During breastfeeding,
Yeah.
amenorrhea is actually beneficial.
Oh.
Gives the mother's body a chance to recover
Right.
and focus resources on nourishing the baby.
I see.
So prolactin, in a way, helps create this temporary pause.
Okay.
It's like a built-in mechanism to ensure a mother's body isn't burdened with another pregnancy.
While she's nourishing her newborn.
Exactly.
That's incredible.
It is.
Nature really thought of everything.
It seems so.
So if prolactin is so important for women, what about men? Do they even have prolactin?
Yes, they do.
They do.
Men produce prolactin as well.
Although its exact role in males is less clear.
Less clear, huh?
Yes. But interestingly, though,
Okay.
high levels of prolactin in men can sometimes be linked to impotence.
Wow. So much complexity.
I know.
Packed into one tiny hormone.
It's fascinating.
And I bet, just like GH, prolactin secretion is tightly controlled.
You bet it is.
Right.
Yes.
So how does that work?
Well, the hypothalamus is the key player here again.
Of course.
Using a trio of hormones to
Right.
regulate prolactin.
Right, what are they?
There's PRH,
PRH.
which stands for prolactin releasing hormone,
Okay.
PIH.
Prolactin inhibiting hormone.
Gotcha.
And surprisingly, TRH,
TRH.
which also regulates thyroid stimulating hormone.
Wait, so TRH is working on both prolactin and thyroid hormones.
It is, yes.
Wow, what a multitasker.
It really is.
But what about prolactin specifically?
Mm.
What's the primary control mechanism?
Well, for prolactin,
Uh-huh.
the primary control is actually PIH,
PIH. Okay.
which is, interestingly enough,
Yeah.
dopamine.
Dopamine, the feel-good chemical.
That's the one.
So you're telling me pleasure and milk production are somehow linked?
They are, yes.
Now that's what I call a fascinating fact.
It is pretty interesting.
So how does dopamine actually control prolactin?
Well, PIH, or dopamine, acts like a brake pedal on prolactin production,
Okay.
preventing its levels from getting too high.
Makes sense.
But here's where it gets really interesting.
Oh.
Certain drugs can actually interfere with this control mechanism,
Oh, really?
either boosting or reducing prolactin levels.
So there's a pharmaceutical connection here.
Absolutely.
It's a good reminder that medications can have ripple effects throughout the body,
They can.
including our hormonal systems.
It's true.
But hold on, dopamine inhibiting prolactin.
Yes.
Wouldn't that mean activities that boost dopamine, like exercise or even falling in love,
Yes.
could affect milk production?
That's a great question.
Right.
And it highlights how interconnected
Our bodily systems really are.
they really are.
While those activities do increase dopamine, it's a complex interplay.
Right.
And other factors come into play.
Okay, so there's more to the story.
There is.
But before we unravel those complexities,
Yes.
let's just take a moment to recap what we've learned
Okay.
about these two hormonal powerhouses.
All right.
We've got GH, the master architect, not only driving growth,
Right.
but also orchestrating energy use
Yes.
and metabolism.
That's right.
And then we've got prolactin,
Yes.
the multifaceted hormone involved in
So much more.
than just milk production,
Absolutely.
playing roles in reproduction, menstrual cycles,
Yeah.
and even potentially impacting men's health.
It's true.
It's incredible how much these hormones affect our lives.
It really is.
And just when you think you've grasped their complexity,
Hooray!
we'll delve deeper into the surprising ways these hormones can go awry
Yes.
and the implications for our health.
Stay tuned. Welcome back to our deep dive into hormones.
Where we left off, we were talking about how,
Activities that boost dopamine might impact prolactin and milk production.
right.
It really is a great question.
It is.
It highlights the complexity of our endocrine system.
Yeah, it's fascinating and a little mind-boggling to think about how something like,
Exercise.
exercise or falling in love
Right.
could potentially mess with milk production.
It really does speak to the intricate web of connections in our bodies.
It does.
While exercise and those lovey-dovey feelings do boost dopamine,
Right.
remember
Yeah.
dopamine acts as a brake on prolactin.
Right.
So in theory,
Okay.
those activities could lead to a slight decrease in prolactin.
But wouldn't that make it harder to breastfeed?
Not necessarily.
Oh.
It's not a simple on-off switch.
Right.
Suckling during breastfeeding
Yeah, right.
is a much more potent trigger for prolactin release
Okay.
than the dopamine fluctuations from exercise or even romance.
It overrides that dopamine break.
So breastfeeding kind of wins the tug-of-war over dopamine.
Exactly.
Wow.
It's a beautifully designed system,
It is.
ensuring that milk production remains a top priority.
When a baby needs to be fed.
Exactly.
That makes sense.
It does.
But speaking of breastfeeding,
Yes.
you mentioned earlier that prolactin isn't the only hormone involved in this process.
That's correct.
It's got a whole support team, right?
You're absolutely right.
Like what?
Prolactin may be the star of the milk-making show, but it needs a talented supporting cast.
Right.
Estrogen and progesterone,
Okay.
mainly produced by the ovaries, are essential for the development of the mammary glands.
So they prep the stage, so to speak.
Yes, during puberty and pregnancy,
Okay.
they essentially set the stage for prolactin to work its magic.
So it's like a hormonal relay race.
A perfect analogy.
Estrogen and progesterone pass the baton to prolactin.
Exactly.
And then prolactin takes it from there. Yes, but the teamwork doesn't end there.
It doesn't.
Even after childbirth, prolactin needs backup.
Okay, so who else is on the team?
Well, glucocorticoids,
Okay.
produced by the adrenal glands, and thyroxine from the thyroid gland,
Thyroxine, okay.
are also necessary for maintaining milk production.
It really emphasizes how interconnected all these systems are.
It does.
No hormone is an island, it seems.
That's a great way to put it.
But this makes me wonder, what happens when this delicate balance gets disrupted?
That is a crucial question.
It is.
And it's where things can get tricky.
Oh, how so?
When hormone levels are out of whack,
Yeah.
it can lead to a whole range of health issues.
Like what happens if someone has too much or too little growth hormone, for instance?
Well, we talked about the dramatic effects of excess GH earlier.
Right, gigantism and acromegaly?
Exactly.
But what about a deficiency?
A deficiency in GH can also be a problem.
Okay, in what way?
In children,
Yeah.
it can lead to pituitary dwarfism,
Pituitary dwarfism, meaning
they don't grow to their full potential height.
so a child might be significantly shorter than they would have been otherwise.
Exactly.
And what about in adults?
In adults, GH deficiency can lead to decreased muscle mass,
Okay.
increased fat, and even psychological changes.
Really? Like
Depression and anxiety.
wow, it's remarkable how one hormone can affect so many aspects of our well-being,
It is.
both physical and mental.
Right.
What about prolactin? What happens if its levels are too high or too low?
Well, we touched upon high prolactin levels.
Hyperprolactinemia.
Exactly.
Great.
It can cause irregular periods or even stop menstruation altogether in women.
Right.
It can also lead to galactorrhea.
Galactorrhea, and that is?
Which is the production of breast milk.
Okay.
Even when a woman is not pregnant or breastfeeding.
I imagine that could be quite alarming.
It can be.
What causes hyperprolactinemia?
It can be caused by several things.
Like what?
Pituitary tumors.
Okay.
Certain medications. Hypothyroidism.
Huh.
And even stress.
Wait, stress can actually affect prolactin levels.
It can.
You're telling me my deadlines could potentially mess with my hormones?
Yes, stress can have a significant impact on our hormonal balance.
Wow, that's a lot to think about.
It is.
It's a reminder that our mental and emotional well-being are tied to our physical health.
Absolutely.
And what about low prolactin levels?
Low prolactin levels can interfere with milk production in women who are breastfeeding.
So it's a bit of a Goldilocks situation.
It is.
You need just the right amount
of prolactin
for everything to function properly.
Exactly.
But how do you even know if your levels are off? Is there a way to test for this?
Thankfully, it's a straightforward process.
Okay, good.
A simple blood test
Right.
can measure the levels of various hormones.
Including growth hormone and prolactin.
That's right.
And then your doctor can interpret the results.
Yes.
And recommend the appropriate course of action.
Exactly.
So if you suspect something's amiss, get those hormones checked.
It's a good idea.
Better to be safe than sorry.
I agree.
But all this talk about hormones and their effects makes me wonder,
What's that?
is there anything we can do to naturally keep our hormones in balance?
That's a great question.
Right.
While there's no magic bullet,
Okay.
there are certainly lifestyle factors that can influence hormone production and balance.
Like what? Spill the secrets.
Well, one of the most powerful things you can do is prioritize sleep.
Sleep, okay.
During sleep,
Uh-huh.
our bodies release a surge of growth hormone.
Really?
Which is essential for growth, repair, and metabolic function.
So those all-nighters might not be doing our hormones any favors.
Probably not. No.
Okay, so prioritize sleep.
Yes. And speaking of things that can throw our hormones out of whack, let's talk about stress.
Stress, right?
Chronic stress can wreak havoc on our hormonal balance.
In what way?
Leading to imbalances. That can affect everything from sleep to fertility.
Oh, wow. Okay, so prioritize sleep, manage stress.
Yes.
What else?
Exercise is another key factor.
Exercise. Okay.
Regular physical activity can help boost growth hormone levels. Improve insulin sensitivity, which is crucial for regulating blood sugar, and even help regulate cortisol.
Cortisol, the stress hormone.
That's the one.
So hitting the gym or going for a run isn't just good for our physical health.
Nope.
It's a hormone booster, too.
It is.
And let's not forget about nutrition.
Of course.
Eating a balanced diet.
Yes.
Rich in fruits, vegetables, lean protein, and healthy fats.
Yeah, right.
Provides the building blocks our bodies need to produce and regulate hormones effectively.
Exactly.
So all those healthy habits we keep hearing about, sleep, stress management, exercise, diet,
yes,
they all play a role
in
keeping our hormones happy.
And balanced.
This is incredibly empowering.
It is.
It means we have more control over our hormonal health than we might realize.
That's right.
And as we continue unraveling the complexities of the endocrine system, we'll see even more fascinating connections between our lifestyle choices and our hormonal health.
Exactly.
But for now, let's shift gears and explore how these powerful hormones might even be influencing our behavior and personalities.
Stay tuned.
Welcome back to The Deep Dive. We've been exploring the intricate world of hormones.
Specifically growth hormone and prolactin.
Right. And it's just amazing how these tiny chemical messengers can have
such a huge impact.
On our bodies.
Influencing everything.
From how we grow.
To how we process energy.
Exactly. But now I'm curious about the flip side. Can our hormones actually influence our behavior?
Oh, absolutely.
Really?
And even our personalities.
Wow. Okay, so you're saying our hormones are kind of like puppet masters.
In a way, yes.
Pulling the strings of our behavior.
It's a fascinating area of research.
It is. Give me an example. How does this work?
Well, let's consider testosterone.
Okay.
The hormone often associated with masculinity.
All right.
It's known to play a role in aggression, competitiveness in men.
Makes sense.
But it also influences libido, energy levels, muscle mass.
So a guy with high testosterone levels might be more likely to, like, hit the gym,
Yes.
ace that presentation at work, and then ask someone out on a date.
All in the same day.
Right.
It's certainly possible.
Wow, that's pretty powerful stuff.
It is.
What about women? Do their hormones play a similar role?
Absolutely. Estrogen and progesterone.
Right. The hormones that regulate the menstrual cycle.
Exactly.
Those can have a big impact, right?
A profound impact.
On mood, energy levels.
Even sleep patterns.
Which explains why some women experience mood swings or fatigue in the days leading up to their period.
It's like their hormones are taking them on a roller coaster ride.
Exactly. It's a great way to put it.
It is.
And it's not just sex hormones that can influence behavior, right?
Right.
What about oxytocin?
Ah, yes.
Often referred to as the love hormone.
That's right.
It plays a crucial role in social bonding.
Trust, empathy.
So a surge of oxytocin might make us feel more connected to others.
It might, yes.
Like if I hug a friend, I'm getting a little hit of oxytocin.
Exactly. Research suggests that oxytocin is released during physical contact.
Like hugging or cuddling.
Yes, and it's thought to contribute to those feelings of closeness.
And bonding.
It may even explain why we feel so good after spending time with loved ones.
It's amazing to think that something as simple as a hug
can trigger these powerful hormonal changes
that impact our mood and relationships.
It really is remarkable.
So it's not just that our hormones are regulating bodily functions.
Right.
They're actually shaping our emotions.
Yes.
Our relationships. Even how we see the world around us.
It's a truly mind-blowing concept.
It is. This whole deep dive has been a real eye-opener.
It has.
We went from understanding growth hormone as the body's master architect.
Right.
To seeing prolactin as this multifaceted hormone involved in so much more than just milk production.
It's involved in so much.
And now we've explored how hormones in general can influence everything.
From our growth and metabolism to our mood, behavior, and even our social connections.
It's incredible.
It really highlights the complexity and wonder of the human body.
It does.
And the more we learn about our hormones, the more we appreciate their role in this incredible symphony of life.
Absolutely. So, dear listeners, the next time you feel a surge of energy.
Or a rush of emotion.
Right, or that deep sense of connection.
Remember.
Your hormones might be playing a part.
They likely are.
It's a fascinating world within each of us.
It is.
And we encourage you to continue exploring the wonders of your own endocrine system.
Knowledge is power.
It really is.
The more we understand about how our bodies work, the better equipped we are to make choices that support our health and well-being.
Wise words.
Thank you.
We'll wrap up our deep dive here.
Into the world of hormones.
We hope you enjoy the journey.
As much as we have.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning.
And keep those hormones happy.